Made in Dagenham, Blog 3. What have you completed this week? If rehearsing, what scenes did you work on? In today's session, me and Connor Revel worked on our second scene together where Barbara takes over Harold's office and they talk about banning strikes. What we did is we went into a separate room while everybody else was rehearsing the dance Payday, which we aren't in. And we just read through our lines together. And we watched each other when we read through our lines, and we watched what each other do and how each other say it. And we gave feedback to each other. And then we did a rehearsal, including the feedback, where we got up and we did the scene again, but after giving each other feedback. So we had that improvement. We do have videos on our Tumblrs as well of that sort of process where we're giving each other feedback and we're doing the scene after feedback. What went well with the scenes? I think the scenes ran really smoothly. The lines were delivered well. The projection was really good. The overall message was put across and all the blocking was well remembered. And it ran really smoothly. What didn't go well with the scenes? I think there were a lot of comedy moments that were quite lost because of pauses that weren't quite right or because lines were being looked over. I think that's something to work on. Just making sure we get that comedy, those comedy pauses to create those moments. For example, when I say, "Have you ever seen a she-lion try to bring down a wildebeest?" And Harold replies, "I'm from Huddersfield." I think there could be a longer pause there to create that comedy moment. What do you need to improve on for the next session? So as I've just mentioned, me and Connor need to get together and work on our comedy moments and our pauses and experiment with it. I think just experiment with it and see what we can do to make it more comical. Experiment with the pauses. What songs and dances have you worked on today? Today we worked on Storm Clouds. What went well? The singing was really good. So Chris played the piano today, and the harmonies were really good, except for at the end. I think they needed a bit of work, but the harmonies were really nice. It was loud and clear, good projection, and also a lot of emotion in the songs. A lot of people really got into the songs, including myself, and really felt that emotion. What didn't go well? Timing in some parts of the singing could be improved on. For example, when the men sing "Welcome to Equality," the timing was a little bit off, and the harmonies at the very end of the song need work. What do you need to improve for the next session? My harmonies at the end of the song, I feel I could experiment with different harmonies and find a harmony that's nice and what's right for the song. So I'm going to work on my harmonies for that. I also need to improve on my stances because I don't move around a lot in Storm Clouds. But I feel like I could find some stronger stances. I started folding my arms again a lot when I'm standing there, which can make me not seem as strong as I want to make Barbara seem. And I do fidget a lot as well, which I shouldn't really be doing. as much as I am. How are you developing your character, physicality, vocals, characterisation? Characterisation, I'm still, for all three, I'm still looking at pictures and videos of Barbara Castle, seeing how she stood, how she talked, how she walked, how fast she used to talk, how slow she used to talk, and working on, so for vocals, like I mentioned last week, YouTube videos looking at Barbara, mimicking her voice. For physicalities, looking at photographs of her and how she stood. And looking at photographs of people like Margaret Thatcher and how she stood. I have been looking at videos of Margaret Thatcher in Parliament and how she delivered, speeches, because I want Barbara to have that. She's a public speaker. I want her to have that way of speaking to the public. So I've been looking at that. Characterisation, I've been videoing myself and looking at what I'm doing and thinking, how can I improve? How can I make myself seem more mature or more like a public speaker, like I work high in politics? So I've been thinking a lot about that, videoing myself and watching myself back. Connor Revel has been giving me a lot of feedback as well. With each scene, I look at sort of what I'm doing. So with each scene, I think, right, what's the purpose of this scene on its own? What is Barbara thinking in this scene? What is she feeling? Instead of looking at Barbara overall, although I do that as well, I look at Barbara in each scene, in each situation. So, with each scene, how does she feel here? And then when I get to the next scene, how does she feel here? And that helps me to develop the character in the given circumstances. What ideas do you have for your role and the overall performance? So I've been working on harmonies with people. So with Amy and Rebecca Burton, I've been getting together with them and looking at what harmonies we could have, different ideas of different harmonies that we could put into Storm Clouds to make it sound a lot better. And ideas for my own character in Storm Clouds, I just definitely feel like I need to, again, come away from folding my arms all the time and fidgeting. I need to stand my ground more and make myself look more strong. What techniques have you used in this session? What effect did you use them for? So the same as I kind of said last week, Stanislavski, making Barbara look like Barbara, because I will have a lot of audience members who know her and who are going to be comparing me to how Barbara was. So Stanislavski, singing is a big one. Harmonies is a very big one for this week's sessions. We've really been focusing on harmonies. What feedback did you receive from your director and peers? Connor Revel's been giving me a lot of feedback. Connor's been talking to me about how I should do certain, tones of my voice, so how I should say certain lines. He's been saying, be more snappy here, or, have a lower pitch here. So Connor's been helping me a lot with that. Kerry, my tutor, has said I need to stand my ground more, which is an ongoing comment that I keep getting from Kerry about just making sure I stand my ground, because I'm a strong woman and Barbara would stand her ground. What did you think of the feedback? I agree with all of it. I think the feedback is great, and it's really been helping me to develop my character. What are you going to do in the next rehearsal to improve on the feedback? Connor is a really good help and I work with him a lot. So I'm going to ask Connor to tell me if I'm not standing my ground, or tell me if I'm slipping back into bad habits. Because he will, and he will be honest with me, and I work with him quite a lot. So I can trust that he will, just tell me, oh, don't do that. For example, there was a point in Storm Clouds where I was singing and I wasn't meant to be, and it just reminded me, and it just really helped. Discuss strengths and areas for development. Okay, so strengths. Time management this week. I've been there on time. All the time, prepared and ready. Looking at costume, I've been putting a lot of effort into looking at costume. So I've been going through the costume cupboards, I've been going through my clothes at home, charity shops, just to find the right kind of costumes. And I think I've found, me and Kerry have decided that blue is going to be my colour for Barbara. So she will be wearing blue. Line learning, I'm still doing really well with that. So I still know all of my lines for the scenes that I've blocked so far. I still need to learn my lines for the other scenes that I've not blocked, though. Accent is another strength. I'm really, really developing my accent all the time, and I'm really quite proud of my accent, actually. Areas for improvement, fidgeting. I do fidget a lot on stage, and I wander around a lot. I need to learn to stand my ground more. So that's a big one. Yeah, I'd say sort of dance, but I don't really do a lot of dancing. It's just, remembering when to move and stuff like that. But